So 2023, it's like February 2023. And we're gonna go over each lumber stack. 2.5 years, how many lumber stacks you got, and how many lumber stacks you need. If you're gonna sell air-dried lumber, you're gonna need a lot of stacks, or at least I do. So this is what I found out. This is what I find. Here we go. There's stack number one in my backyard. It's red oak. It's gonna be for board and bat. There's the 8-foot sides on the building, and there's the 11-foot sides on the building. A couple of those rows are rotten and don't count, but other than that, the 8-foot and the 11-foot stacks are sold, bought and paid for. Just got to air dry, and he's going to pick them up. This stack here goes along with that. Those two stacks, it's sold also. It's 2x6s, 2x8s, some 8x8s in there, and some 3x, 6s, 3x5s, 3x6s. This stack here is ready to go. I think it's level. We're going to unload it hopefully today, maybe tomorrow. That's a 16-foot stack there that's empty. I'll take those 4x4s out and put it on a new stack that I'm building. This stack here is a 21-footer, so long as I can cut on my mill. And I don't think it's straight, so we're going to have to take those off, run a line, run a string between there and find out if it's straight. If it's not, I think we'll have to dig this down here a little bit. There's another one that started. I started it last fall, sprayed around it, killed everything, but I didn't get it started. This one has the tin blown off of it back there, but this is 20-foot red oak, and it's just a 6-inch half. There's two of them there, and there's a hollow log there. But it's an order. It's ready to go. It just has to be picked up, and you've got to have a base for it until you can pick it up. It's air drying right now. There's blue stain, beetle killed, 1-inch white pine, knotty white pine, and it's air drying, but it will probably go into the kiln. That stack will probably be cut 11 foot and go into the kiln. There's the next base I'm working on. And right in between these two. This is the walnut off that circle mill that they were scrapping, and I just grabbed it because I don't have anything with circle mill cuts on it. See how the cuts are different on that? Really cool. This is the next stack that's going into kiln this spring. It'll be the first stack of the year going into kiln. That's all walnut and cherry. Top half from about here up is walnut, and there down is cherry. There's some live edge in there. There's some 4-inch in there. Some 2-inch. There's some 5/4. That stack's cedar, 1-inch cedar, and that's going on my deck, hopefully. And let's see, we missed this pile. This is white oak, and that's going to be the joists for my deck, 4 joists for the deck. And then the other stack that we're starting on today is right over there. I just threw those down there yesterday. And then we're going to run another stack across here, and we're going to run another stack in front of those two. And I don't think we're going to run one here because I got to get in there with a 21-footer. But I've got room for one more stack out there. And then this stack is the board or the board and bat for the lean-to. Here's the actual first stack in my yard, and I still have the 16-foot 4x4s are still on there. It was level, but I never took the 4x4s off. So that stack right there is board and bat. That's going to be the bats. That's going to be the first stack through the edger, and it's going to have to be the 2.5-inch bats. That's a pretty interesting order there. It's 3x6 white pine with the live edge on one side. Ready to go, and he's going to pick it up this week. That's why it doesn't have any 10 over. It's going to pick it up this week. Here's my 16-foot. I keep calling it the trash pile, but it's not trash. It's anything, any white pine, 2-inch white pine that's under 4 inches. So it's not a 2x4, it's thinner than a 2x4. And there's some Wood Mizer on top. Here's white oak order, ready to go. He's got some skinny stuff in there, and he's got some fat stuff in there. There's a white pine order, ready to go. 4x, 5x5, 6x6s, 3x10s, 3x12s. Got easy order. There's a half oak bridge that fell down. This one's pretty much empty. It's got like 1 or 2 slabs on there, but it's pretty 16-foot stack that's empty. Stickers. I gotta cut some more of those. There's a stack of. Remember those maple limbs? Look how these turned out. Let me show you how these turned out. How shitty these turned out. This is what happens when you cut a maple limb. You see that? Then you see the big crack in it. And we knew they were going to do this, or I knew they were going to do this when we started them. But those are all maple, and 90% of them are trash. All right, hang on. Got somebody pulling in. Okay, anyway, so those are maple limb 4x4s. They're really, they're just going to be thrown around, used for nothing. Probably can't even use them as, some of them I might be able to use under lumber stacks. Here's 2x pine, 11 foot. There's 2x maple, 11 foot. And there's 2-inch everything. That stack there, 11 foot. Oak, elm, hedge, pine, Osage orange, maple, anything. We just sawed everything, a little bit of everything, just to see how it would saw on that. There's an 2-inch, 8-foot pine. It's ready to go. There's 2-inch, 16-foot pine, and there's a stack of 2-inch, 14-foot pine, but I don't have many of them left. There's only a few in there. There's a stack of that needs leveled again. Obviously, I didn't do very good over the winter. That's 16-foot 4x4 stack right there. I had so many 16-foot 4x4s. Dog's got a rabbit. Here's 2-inch, 16-foot 2-inch pine. There's 16-inch on top of that. This stack was over here. This stack was over here. I moved it over here to get to some of those. This is 1-inch white pine. This is the piece of tin that ripped off. This is the hedge 6x6s here. And this is a white pine that was part of that 3x6 order earlier, and it's just left over. Probably gonna make 4x4s out of it. That's a stack of live edge, white oak, air dried, and there's 2 6x6s in there too. Probably only like 6-foot stack. Just a little. I just put the 2-inch scraps on here. Those will be black oak. And then I'll put like that walnut log on here and a cherry, all those cherries. I'll put these little stumps on there and just air dry them, and people come through and pick out what they want out of that stack. Just kind of a scrap stack. It's close to the mill because scraps. Those are cedar 4x4s for my deck. This is white oak, black oak, bur oak. Most of it's live edge. Some of it's, this is black oak here. Some of it's not live edge, but a lot of it's live edge. A lot of 2-inch, but there is some 1-inch in there. And here's your 2-inch, but they're like 2x10s, 11s and 12s and stuff. Yeah, but they're only 6-foot long white pine. And then the last stack is back there, and that's order. That's a completed order there. And it's really weird stuff like 5x5, 5.5 by 4 3/8. There's weird cuts there. But 4x4s, 5x5s, and then there's some 2-inch white pine underneath it. And that's been air dry, and that'll be ready to go this year too, hopefully. So I guess the point is you just need so many lumber stacks. Everywhere you gotta have lumber stacks. I mean, how are you gonna sell air dried lumber if you haven't got any stacks to air dry it? And getting those stacks straight, carrying those cement blocks, straightening out those stacks. It's not like it's hard work, but it's time consuming and a pain in the ass to level all that stuff out. But you got to do it. and you got to have the stacks. I don't know how many stacks that was. Somebody can go through and count, or maybe I'll go through and count later how many stacks that was. But that's, what did I say, 2 years? 2 years and 3 months worth of stacks. And that doesn't even count. I mean, you don't even see in there how much just went out. You know, how much is already air dried and went out. Some of those stacks have been filled up 5 and 6 times, you know. Some of those, like those kiln stacks, since in the last 2 years, I put in, you know, 6 kiln loads of lumber, so that'd be 12 kiln loads of lumber, 2 kilns. That's not counting those. Where'd you stack those? You know, those were just stacked up in one of those stacks, emptied off, and the stack was filled up again. A couple of those stacks close to the road there have been filled up 5 or 6 times. The 16-foot stacks have been filled up 5 times. You know, there's a lot of lumber moving in and out of here, and you gotta have enough places to air dry it. So that's where I'm at. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more places I can put stacks, and then I'm gonna have to start hunting for stacks, places to put more lumber. I don't want to put it out here in the middle of the sun. You know, you put it out in that pasture, you know, out there with no shade, and that'd be brutal. You put it in too much shade, you know, and that'll let it mold. So you've got to find some place to store this stuff that's partial shade, at least partial shade, and you got to have enough room to store it all. And it's not easy. It's not easy getting all that room, moving all that lumber. People don't think, you know, they think, oh, I'll just get a mill and give me a couple stacks of lumber and sell it. Well, your mill will cut 2 stacks of lumber in 3 days, you know, and now you've got a year to wait for those 2 stacks to dry, 6 months to wait at minimum to wait for those 2 stacks to dry. Now what do you do with your mill for the next 6 months? You got to build more stacks. So I'm just saying, people forget about those stacks, you know, and what they're going to do with all their lumber and how they're going to sell it all. You know, green lumber. Even if you are selling green lumber to somebody, he's probably not happy when he gets it. He might be happy. He might be happy when he gets it, but he's probably not happy when it warps on him. He takes it home, puts it all in his garage, and stacks it there, and one on top of the other, and it all molds, or, you know, he doesn't stack it properly, so it dries wrong. Even if you're selling green lumber, you know, you've got to teach that guy, teach the customer how to stack it properly, or else he's not going to be a return customer, because the stuff you sold him warped and twisted or rotted or molded or dried out too fast and split. So get your lumber stacks ready if you're getting a mill. Hopefully I'll have enough time to make 4x4s on the mill today. I don't know. Probably just build stacks.